All right, we are looking at right at the top of the hour here. So to respect everyone's time, we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to actually broadcast us here to our LinkedIn, or excuse me, to our Facebook, if I can figure that out here. All right, well, let's go ahead and jump right in. Thank you all so much for joining us on this week's webinar. We are so grateful to have you here. Going to give everyone just a couple of minutes to get logged in and settled. I know there are some people that have been waiting on here a little bit early, but once you are in, let us know in the chats that you're here, that you can hear us okay. At National Association of Sales Professionals, we are actually a global association. So we have people, sales professionals tuning in from all over the world. So we love to see where you're tuning in from. So once you're in, let us know in that chat where you're from. Again, it's so great to have you here today. My name is Erin Sullivan, and so if you've been on these webinars in the past with us, you may be familiar with my face here, but I am the Senior Director of Client Experience for NASP. And one of the things that we love to do is to provide these webinars for you every single week. We have a lot of different topics coming on throughout recent months, and we really look forward to hosting these webinars for you. Again, the association is a complimentary online association, and it's really great because as a member, we also have some free resources like our weekly webinars, obviously, and then we also have our daily sales success and seller style assessment. So a lot of great resources for you as a sales professional. And again, one of the things we absolutely love to do are these weekly webinars. And I'm so glad this week we have brought on Samuel from Evolve Your Success. If you're on this webinar, chances are you're either interested in medical sales or maybe you're already in medical sales and you're looking at how can I really, up level my career and take it to the next level. Well, Samuel has been in the industry for over 14 years. He worked in a lot of different just big named companies, really successful as a professional in medical sales. And he actually went through and as an ICF certified career coach, recognized that there was a gap, that there was this need for just specific training, specific coaching for individuals looking to get into this really competitive industry. And so he, birthed this Evolve Your Success coaching company in 2008. And it's just been a pleasure getting to know him over the past, since he's been connected with NASP over the past year. And he's really has a lot of great tips and knowledge, just a value-filled webinar for you all today. With that, I think that I'm just going to let you jump right in, Samuel, and do your thing.
Thank you, Erin. Yeah, first of all, again, thank you all for being here. This is it's really exciting for me to be able to share this information with you, and this is really designed for those of you that might be in the medical sales profession that want to get into a different field or want to level up your income and your career, and for those of you that are thinking about what I really wanted to get into a profession that's going to do a lot. That's going to do a lot for my career, a lot for my own growth, and you want to get it. You've thought about medical sales, or you've thought about just getting into sales and going the medical route. So again, welcome and thank you for being here. And this is called the Insider Secrets for Breaking into a Lucrative Career in Medical Sales. So here's what you're going to learn today. You're going to learn why a career in medical sales is actually a recession-proof career. I mean, this is what you can call a recession-proof industry. You're going to learn the different types of medical sales careers that are out there. And you're going to learn the 5 proven steps for getting the medical sales position that you actually want. What I really want you to be able to walk away with is, I'm going to share my secrets on how to get a medical sales position, like specifically how to do that. I'm going to extend an invitation to those of you who want to experience more. And I really want you to walk away with tons of value and a lot of insight. And for those of you that stick with us until the very, very end of this talk, I'm gonna provide for you the 6 things you need to do before any medical sales interview, and you'll get that sent to you. All right, so let's get into it. The hottest sales career out there. So let's think about what time we're in right now. Right now, we're experiencing COVID-19, right? It's been a global pandemic, and it's affected the entire world in a lot of different ways. The economy's been hit. People have been laid off of their positions. People are not able to earn as much. Businesses can't get access to their customers. Customers can't get access to certain businesses. And even in these uncertain times, when it comes to the medical sales profession, there's some research that shows things are a little different. So let's take a look at just the population of the world that we're in today. So right now, everyone's getting older, right? And everyone's living longer. And it's a beautiful thing. I mean, the life expectancy has gone on longer. People are able to live longer and live healthier. And what's this driven by? This is driven by the need for medications, the innovation with drugs, with pharmaceuticals, and the innovation with procedures and devices in the hospital and the operating room. So everything is going in that direction. What this means for you, though, is that it's opening up this opportunity for medical sales professionals to always be in need. Let's take a look at some other statistics. Here is this, what you're looking at right now are two charts that show the growth of the actual devices and instruments that are used in the operating room. And you can see from 2014 to 2020, you see a lot of growth, and the projected growth all the way through 2025. Whether you're talking about handheld surgical instruments or minimally invasive surgical instruments, there's a lot of growth. What does this mean? This means these medical manufacturers expect to see their devices be used and used and used, and they need someone to drive all this growth. And that's where the medical sales professionals come into play. Another example of this, look at ambulatory surgery centers are on the rise. 16% growth in 2019. So some of you are looking at this and saying, okay, well, what exactly is an ambulatory surgery center? So what happens is, the way procedures in the operating room have been reimbursed has changed since 2016. And insurance companies want to be able to capitalize more on the procedures that are done. So they started working with these surgery centers where someone can get surgery, a procedure done outside of the hospital, get better access, better care, more efficient care, so the patient wins. Surgeons can actually partner with the surgery center, so they win. And what does this mean for the medical sales professional? There's more access now. You actually can get access to a surgery center the way you can't get access to a hospital. So you're able to spend more time engaging the surgeons, and it's driving that demand. With the explosion of surgery centers, these medical manufacturers need reps to get out there and make sure that their products are being promoted. Again, it just supports why, when it comes to medical sales, it really is the hottest career out there when you're thinking about a medical sales professional, because you're always having that built-in necessity that your job is going to be somewhere in demand, regardless what's happening in your environment. On top of that, take a look at this, the percent of total population with diagnosed diabetes. Now we're talking more pharmaceuticals. Look at what's happening here. There's growth in people that are being diagnosed with diabetes. The good thing about that is there are more medications than ever that are more innovative to get on top of this and help all of these and help the entire population deal with this disease state. And what this means, again, is that as a medical sales professional, pharmaceutical companies need professionals to get out there and push their innovative product. So again, it's a career that's going to be in demand regardless of what's going on in the environment. Here you're looking at the biotechnology market. You can see here that biotechnology market size, it's grown significantly from 2012 to 2020. And its projected growth is going to be a lot more by 2024. And this is most likely going to continue. And again, it doesn't really matter what's happening in the environment, whether there's a global pandemic or not. These things, people still need medications. So these companies still need to push their products, which again means there's need to be a demand for these sales professionals that understand how to do this and can go out there every day and make it happen, whether they're doing it from behind their computer or actually in the field. And on top of all of that, with the growth of the need for drugs, the need for the devices, there's more players in healthcare in general. If you look at this statistic right here, what you're looking at is healthcare hiring for just 1 year, 2016, 2017. Almost 500,000 more people were hired into healthcare. So we're talking everything from medical assistants to nurses, to nurse practitioners, nurse case managers, to clinicians. I mean, what does that tell you? The good thing about that is there are more access points to influence providers to use your products or use your devices. And again, how are these companies going to manage that and make sure they remain influential so that these providers are using their products? It goes back to the medical sales professional. That's why it makes the medical sales profession such a hot career, because it's growing regardless of the environment, and you're always going to be in need. And then, so we've talked about that, right? We've talked about the need for medical sales professionals that supports why it's the hottest sales career. Another reason why the medical sales profession is so hot is because it pays more across the board. So I know this is a very busy chart. I'm not expecting you to just process all this information, but pick any line item. That's the average salary a medical sales professional makes. So let's look at the two most common: pharmaceutical and medical device. Pharmaceutical, the average salary is around $116,000 a year. That is the average. For medical device, the average salary is around $156,000 a year. Again, an average. So what that tells you is that a number of people make these salaries, and a number of people make a significant amount more than these salaries, because this is just an average. It's one of those professions where you can have a pretty high base and in a lot of cases an uncapped commission, which again supports why it's the hottest sales career a sales professional can have. Take a look at this chart right here. Who earns $250,000 or more? When it comes to the medical sales profession, a $250,000 earner is not uncommon. We're going to get a little bit more into that when we talk about the actual details of each field, but it's not uncommon. Medical device sales does take the bulk of it, but it still happens in surgical device. It happens in capital equipment. It happens in biotech sales. It even happens in specialty pharma sales. You're not going to see a lot of people that are making much less than this. And this is, again, why it supports how the medical sales profession is such a hot career to get into. And then, of course, the full benefits. So when you're working for a large company, and when I say large, I'm talking mid-cap to large cap. I don't mean just the largest, but just an average large company. You're talking about full benefits across the board. And what that means is you're given a car, or you're given a car allowance with free gas for as long as you're a sales professional. You're given health insurance for you and your family. And you're given a 401k and stock options with the company, especially if the company is a public company. If it's a private company, you're still given a good 401k plan. So what does that mean? That means, again, you're supported. You're in this industry that's in demand, regardless of what's going on in the environment. You're supported. You're fully supported and compensated very well. And again, supports why it's the hottest sales career to get into. And then on top of all of that, even right now, in the middle of COVID-19, when a lot of us can't even leave our homes, companies are still hiring. Companies like ConMed, medical device companies, companies like Medtronic, pharmaceutical companies like Pfizer, Roche, Gilead, and even biotechnology companies like Abbott, AbbVie, and even lab and diagnostic testing companies like Nona Scientific. And I'm going to stop right there. I'm sure any of you can tell me, what is the most popular test out there in the market right now? If anybody wants to put in the chat, feel free. I'm going to say it anyway. But the most popular test out there right now is COVID testing. Nona Scientific develops COVID testing. They have so much business that they're scrambling to find enough sales professionals to manage all the COVID tests they have available for their customers. And that's the kind of thing that can happen when you're in the medical sales profession, even in this kind of environment. So where do you fall? Maybe you're one of the millions out there out of work. You've not been in sales and you're looking to establish a new career. Or maybe you've had or have a career in sales and now you're looking to jump into this lucrative niche of medical sales. Or maybe you have an experience in medical sales and you're looking to take your career and your income to the next level. Regardless where you fall, there are some things that you got to make sure you have. Now, we're here, we're in the National Association of Sales Professionals. You guys are in NASP. You guys believe in visualizing what you want to get in this life and how to go after it. You really believe in having a vision. And I am a dreamer, so I believe in that as well. However, there are some obstacles that you want to make sure you can get in front of when it comes to getting into the medical sales profession. First thing is a college degree. Can you get into the medical sales profession without a college degree? Sure. Will it be very, very challenging and will it serve as an obstacle? Definitely. Same thing with your driving record. You want to have a clean driving record. Can you get into medical sales with a poor driving record? Possibly. Is it going to be a very serious challenge and an obstacle? Definitely. So you just want to make sure you have those things ironed out before you pursue a medical sales profession. So what do you want? What lifestyle do you want is the real question. And we're going to talk about 3 aspects of life that are really important to consider when it comes to getting into medical sales. First thing, maybe you want job security. We just talked about that. We talked about why medical sales is considered the hottest sales career. It's because there's a lot of job security in there, even when there's an environmental crisis going on across the world. Money, maybe for you, it's like, you know what? I appreciate what I do. I love the value I bring, but I really want to do more for myself and my family. So I want to make more money. I want to make a 6-figure base with a 6-figure bonus, or you know what, an uncapped bonus even. Or maybe it's impact. The security, you believe in it, of course. The money, yes, you absolutely need it. But what you really care about is making an impact. You're saying, you know what, I really want to dedicate myself to a career that improves the quality of a patient's life. Or I want to dedicate myself to a career that literally improves patient outcomes when they get out of that operating room. The beautiful thing about medical sales is you can have all three in the same role. I mean, it doesn't matter whether you're in biotechnology sales or medical device sales. Job security can be there. The money can be there. The impact can be there. It's in my opinion, it's one of the few industries where you can have it all in the same industry. So the pitfalls in picking a niche. So this is important to talk about because what I've seen throughout my career and through helping professionals get positions, there is a lot of not assessing what you want out of life and then throwing yourself into a career and there being a mismatch. And that can happen in medical sales too. So the way to avoid that is to really understand what lifestyle you want as an individual and then see which field matches that lifestyle. So what lifestyle do you want? Maybe you're someone that wants to get their hands dirty. You want to be in the action. You say, you know what? I want to be in the operating room right there, making things happen. Or I want to be somehow attached to the operating room and have a big hand in the success and the efficiency of that procedure. Or maybe you love business and selling. You say, you know what I'm about? I'm about developing relationships within a medical community, all the way from the office manager to the doctor. Or maybe you dream of being an executive in a large organization and making decisions for the future of medicine. You want to say, you know what, I want to drive this kind of care. I want to be on the forefront of what happens in that arena. Or maybe you want to work in a highly specialized field that's on the cutting edge of medicine with a really bright future that's improving the world of the field of medicine. Regardless what lifestyle you want, you need to identify where you fall. I've categorized these 4 areas because these are the common areas that a lot of people fall into one of them. So, as you're looking at this right now, identify where you fall. Because what we're going to do now is we're going to go into 3 different categories of medical sales, and we're going to explore where you actually fit. So what's your best fit? We're going to start with medical devices. So what is medical devices? So we'll start with the income. Medical devices is a very high income career. A lot of representatives within their first year, going into their second year, they're making around $150,000 a year. And 3, 4, 5 years in, there are reps out there that are making up to $1 million per year. It's not uncommon to see a 4th or 5th year medical device sales rep that's in the $300,000 to $400,000, maybe $400,000 to $500,000 range. It's just the way things turned out to be when it comes to medical devices. So it's really high commission and of course full benefits depending on the company you're working for. It falls into 3 categories. Now, for those medical device sales reps that are on here, there are many more fields, yes. But generally speaking, there's implants, which are like your screws, your biologics. A biologic is a device that works on tissue. So think of a bone graft where you have some bad bone in there and you use a device to extract that bad bone. There's disposables. So think about your sutures, sponges, your staples, and you guys can imagine what those are in a procedure. And then think about capital equipment. Those are your robotics, navigating systems, imaging systems. Think about an X-ray machine. So those are the three general categories: implants, disposables, and capital equipment. So medical device is a good fit for you if you love a performance culture. And medical devices is really based on a performance culture. There's a phrase that goes around: the more you kill, the more you eat. I know some of you business to business sales professionals out there kind of use that terminology. It describes medical device sales to the T, because it really is a grind, and it really has demanding hours. If you're working in surgery, you're in those procedures sometimes, and you're actually working alongside the surgeon with your competition in the room. So you really have to have this competitive spirit that is willing to do what it takes to get the business and make an influence in these patient outcomes. It's also a very high pressure environment. So if you enjoy a high pressure environment, medical devices is something you should strongly consider. So, you know, in a nutshell, if you're thinking about medical devices, you know you have a competitive spirit. You know that you're all about grinding, working really hard and putting in whatever hours are required. And you love being able to impact the point of care of patients when they step into the operating room, then yeah, I would say medical devices is something for you. Let's talk about pharmaceuticals. Pharmaceutical sales, really good income also. A lot of reps start around 85 full compensation, and they go as high as to 200,000, you know, 3 or 4 years in. And also, it's one of those careers that has a high base, meaning you can start with a base of 60 or 75, and 3, 4 years in, you can have a base of 120, 130. You know, I know reps that have bases as high as 160, and then your commission is maybe around $40,000 a year. The different categories of pharmaceutical sales, again, there's many different fields, but the general categories are primary care, which is typically entry level, specialty pharmaceutical. And by the way, when I say primary care, entry level, I'm talking about diabetes. I'm talking about respiratory issues. I'm talking about hypertension, hyperlipidemia. Those fall in primary care. Specialty pharmaceutical is more like your nuanced disease states, like HIV or hemophilia or rheumatoid arthritis. And then biotechnology, for all of you who wonder what biotechnology actually means, it's really simple. It's usually for more chronic diseases, and biotechnology means it's a drug that was made from living tissue. So how do you know if pharmaceuticals is right for you? If you enjoy a flexible schedule and regular working hours, so you're more along the lines of, you know what, I want a 9-to-5 career in medical devices, or I'm sorry, in medical sales, but I want to be able to have some flexibility with my hours. Or you enjoy developing relationships. Every type of medical sales position requires developing relationships. But with pharmaceuticals, you're really developing relationships with every point of access in the office. So you're getting to know the office manager really well. You're getting to know the medical assistants really well, the nurses really well, and the providers really well. And then also, you love understanding and explaining data. In pharmaceuticals, you're using a lot of clinical trials to support why a prescriber should do and use a certain medication. So if you love reading about data, you love learning about data, and you're really good at just piecing up the data together, making sense of it and explaining it, this is also a great career to consider. And then lastly, a less known type of medical sales, genetic and molecular sales. Again, very good income. Starting reps make around $100,000 a year. And, you know, 3-4 years in, the average rep is making about $250 to $300, and sometimes as high as $350 a year. High base, high commission, and depending on the company, the larger companies, of course, you have full benefits. They fall into a lot of different categories, but the three that are common are genetic testing. So think about this. Imagine having a service/product where your customer point is the hospital administration, the provider, and the patient. And you're addressing something like Alzheimer's, and you're identifying the genetics in a family to prevent Alzheimer's for other family members. I mean, that's the kind of cutting edge stuff that you're dealing with in genetic testing. Also fertility testing. In that case, think about IVF. You know, you're helping a woman that can't get pregnant. You're helping her be able to conceive. That's fertility testing. And then molecular sales. Molecular sales is toxicology sales. So think about urine analysis. You're partnering with large employers, right? And you're selling urine analysis tests that help an employer identify in their candidates if they're on drugs or not. It catches all these trace amounts to make sure that whoever your candidate is trying to pass a drug test is actually being truthful. So for genetic/molecular sales, it's right for you if you love a flexible schedule with regular working hours. Again, this is more of a 9-to-5 position, but it's really flexible because you're dealing with these long sales cycles. So you could be working on the same customer for an entire year before you actually get the business. And when you do, it will literally pay you for the rest of your career as long as they stay your account. If you love to travel, it's a great career because you're going to be responsible for pretty large territories. And if you love and enjoy developing deep relationships, and that's important because, again, really long sales cycle, you could be working on the same account for 6 months to a year. You're really nurturing that account. You're really getting to know that account on a deep level. And if you do a great job of it, they will be your customer and could be your customer for your career. And that could, of course, pay you very well and have you making a great impact and a great service to their organization. So those are the 3 different types of medical sales you can get into. You've understood where you fall as far as the lifestyle you want. Now you can have a better idea of what you can think about when it comes to where you want to be in medical sales. But let's be honest, we're all sales professionals here, right? And if we're not sales professionals, we want to be. So here's the thing. As a sales professional, you already know that whatever you're doing, you want to commit to it. You need to be all in. If you're ready to get the job, you're ready to do what is required. And that's important. Just like if you're ready to get the sale, you're going to do what is required. So that means if you're only halfway in, you can only expect to get halfway there. So if you want to get into medical sales, you got to make that decision. You got to commit and identify for yourself that you want this, and then now be ready and willing to go out and make it happen. So a little about me. I've been talking for about 15, 20 minutes now. And Aaron gave me a wonderful, gracious introduction. I'm going to give you a little bit more detail about where I come from and what I'm about. So yes, 15 amazing years in the medical sales industry. I've worked in pharmaceutical. I've worked in primarily pharmaceutical and biotechnology. Those have been my wheelhouses. And I've worked for 4 different major companies. I've ascended the ladder in the sales profession in both of them, in all 4 of them. And it's been an amazing career, and I've learned a lot, and I've done very well in the industry. I have a bachelor's of science in biomedical sciences. That's my background. And I'm ICF certified as a career coach. So this is important. And I want to stop here for a moment, this certification as an ICF coach, because I got into personal development back in 2012. I had some things going on in my life personally, and I wanted to level up my career. So I started looking for ways to do that through personal development. I found these different organizations. I fell in love with it, and I've been on it ever since. And then in 2016, while I was still in the industry, I started working with sales professionals in personal development, just like you guys come here to NASP. And I started helping them, develop. And I would learn that a lot of them wanted to get into medical sales. I mean, a lot of different fields wanted to get into medical sales. So I decided to put together the Medical Sales Career Builder in 2018 for medical sales job seekers. And it's a program that actually takes someone, whether they're an established professional, they want to be a sales professional, or they're a medical sales professional, it puts them through a program that helps them get and gives them everything they need to help them get the medical sales position that they want. And then I started the Medical Sales Podcast. If you guys have not listened to my podcast, the Medical Sales Podcast, I highly recommend you do so. It's a really great podcast because I have the opportunity to interview all of these professionals, medical sales professionals, from all the industries that we just discussed, from CEO level all the way down to sales rep level. And they talk about exactly what they do in their jobs, what it's done for them, how it's changed their lives, the impact they're making. And it just gives you a real beautiful insight into really what it means to be a medical sales professional. In addition to that, I'm a proud dad of 2 sons, living the life I imagined. And I stress living the life I imagined because just like you guys talk about here in NASP, again, about visualization, about imagining a life you see for yourself, and then developing that psychology, that mindset to go out there and create it. That's exactly what I want to help you do. If you see yourself in a medical sales profession and you want to be a medical sales professional, I want to help you make that vision, that imagining that you're doing, a reality. So here's what I know. This is the hottest sales profession, yet it's the toughest to enter. Right now, you want the confidence that you can get this type of position without a traditional background and with no current connections. There's a strategy to get into this industry that consistently works every time. Only the few who know those strategies, though, are willing to do the work and are successful just like I've been, just like my colleagues have been, and just like the number of students I coach to get sales positions. So where are you? Are you someone that's ready to start a new career? Maybe you're someone that's finally looking to get into medical sales, but you've been trying and you're not getting any interviews. Or you've gotten an interview or two or some, and you've been told, you know what, it's great that you're applying and going for this, but you do not have the right experience. Or maybe you're in medical sales and you're looking for that next level. You're saying, you know what, I love what I've experienced, but I wanna level up. I wanna level up my career, level up my income, level up the impact I'm making in patients' lives. So now what I wanna do is, after you've identified where you are, which you guys already know when you came here, I wanna talk about some of my students that have been through my program that were literally just like a lot of you that are listening right now. I'm gonna start with Julie. Julie was a teacher that wanted to get into pharmaceutical sales. She kept getting rejection letters from her applications. She'd finally get a phone interview, but she wouldn't be able to get a face-to-face interview. She'd finally get a face-to-face interview, but she was never able to get an offer. And she was told repeatedly that she lacked the right experience and it would cost her the opportunity. And she really didn't even know where to begin. I mean, she didn't know what to do. She had a resume, she didn't know what to do with it, how good it was. She had some social media, she wasn't sure what to do with it, and she was kind of at a loss. Another student that found me and went through my program was Andrew. Andrew wanted to become a medical device sales rep. He would get face-to-face interviews, but no offers. Again, he was told his lack of experience would cost him the opportunity, and he would waste hours behind the desk trying to figure out how to make it happen. And then Crystal also went through my program, and she wanted to get into medical devices. She could not get when she found me, she could not get a face-to-face interview. She was told her lack of experience is the reason why she can't get a face-to-face interview. And she would also, again, waste hours behind a desk trying to make things happen until she found my program. So this is what they did. All three of those students, Julie, Andrew, Crystal, this is what they ended up doing. They found me, they went through my 6-week program, and they followed the proven path, the 5 Ps. And here are the 5 Ps. Prepare. Get clear on where you want to be in the industry. Package. Build your network and optimize your profile. Practice. Build and promote your personal brand. Present. Understand the interview process to the T, and then perfect. Master the interview process to land an actual position. So let's talk about a few of these 5 Ps, because it's important that you understand how they all work together. Because if you miss one of them, miss one step, you could literally miss your opportunity. This is a proven path. We've seen this work over and over and over again. We know it provides success for people that actually do it. So getting clear on where you want to be, what exactly does that mean? So it means being able to identify the industry you want to work in and see how you're aligned. We talked a little bit about that a little earlier, but this requires an in-depth look to really get clear down to the company on where you belong, where you'd make a good fit. In addition to that, you got to understand the right things about the company. It goes beyond just knowing the company. You have to understand what it is to know about the company and what's going to make you a good match, and then what to deliver when you're talking to anybody about the opportunity you want to take. And then laying out a plan. It's critical to lay out a plan from A to Z, from before you have anything to actually landing the offer. Powering up your network is another critical step. You have to be able to make a list of ideal current and future contacts. And this list is going to carry you. These are advocates that you're actually developing so that they not only help you get the interview, but they carry you through the interview so that you land the offer. And you have to take courageous action to actually have these conversations with the right people. The right conversations with the right people. Something that you can be trained and instructed and just really hone your skills on how to do to actually start getting interviews and landing offers. And then you have to optimize your personal brand, and this can't be overstated. You have to be able to repurpose your resume specifically for medical sales. Your profile needs to scream not that you want to be in medical sales, it needs to scream that you are prepared to be in medical sales, and if given the chance, you will excel starting day one. You want to optimize your social media to push your personal brand. and you want to get the attention of the most desired companies out there. And this is a critical step. It's one thing to pine after all these companies. It's a different thing when these companies start noticing you. And now, especially in this day and age, there's wonderful ways to make that happen that I teach in my program. And then you have to learn the art of the interview. Master my 8 experience method for interviewing, a method that literally allows you to answer any interview question and really impress the hiring manager, because it shows your skill set, it shows what you understand, and it shows the experience that you have that makes sense for them to want to bring you onto their team. Learn how to tell your own powerful story. This is a critical thing that everybody that's looking for a position needs to be able to do, because your story is really the essence of why you should even be going for a position. And then master the initial phone interview, which people actually take lightly. People should take this interview much more seriously because it's the gateway. And then master the face-to-face and Zoom interview, which again, we train people to do in our program. And they did that. They took my program, they went through the 5 Ps, they did everything, they executed everything, all of their plans from A to Z, and all of them, Julie, Andrew, and Crystal, they all got offers. Because when you follow the 5 Ps and you're clear on what you've done, why you were effective, and how you'll be an asset, you will shine as a candidate. Let's talk about Julie. Julie was a teacher for 22 years and she wanted to enter pharmaceutical sales. She was ready for a new challenge, but she was nervous as to whether she could actually pull it off. She didn't have any industry-specific experience. She followed my process in the program, and now she works for Merck Pharmaceuticals with a $40,000 increase after going through my program. I love to talk about her, and one thing I'll say also is she's one of the few students that got a position within 7 weeks. My program is 6 weeks. She landed the interview, or she got the interview in week 7, and she landed the interview in week 8. I mean, it's an extremely rapid process for her, but it just highlights how when you're hungry and you really want to make it happen, and you're given the right guidance, amazing things can happen. Andrew was in trucking sales for 2 years, and he wanted to enter medical device sales. He was not landing his interviews. He didn't have industry-specific experience. He followed my process in the program, and now he works for ConMed, a medical device company, and he doubles his income in 7 weeks from 60 grand to 120,000 after going through my program. And again, it goes to show that when you're serious about getting a position and you've committed to making the decision and you find the right guidance, you can get a position. And another reason that I love to highlight Andrew is because he also was somebody that got a position within 7 weeks. And then Crystal, she was a skincare technician for 3 years, and she wanted to enter medical device sales. She was ready for a new challenge. She was not getting any interviews. She didn't have any industry-specific experience. And some of you might look at that and say, well, wait a minute, she was a skincare technician. But take a look at what the position she actually got. She followed my process, and now she works for Medtronic. She got a $30,000 increase starting, and after going through my program, and she got into the cardio division with Medtronic. She had no experience in that whatsoever. And again, it goes to show that when you follow the 5 Ps and you do the right things, even a skincare technician who for 2 years struggled to enter the industry can get a position in less than 90 days. So regardless where you are, whether you're one of the millions out of work that's not been in sales and you're looking to establish a new career, or whether you've had a career in sales and now you're looking to jump into this lucrative niche, or whether you're in medical sales and you're looking to level up, take your career to the next level, take your income to the next level, take your impact to the next level, here are some things you just don't do. Number 1 mistake, assuming all resume writing is the same and using done-for-you resume templates not written by industry experts to get a position. It's obvious, guys. You know that when it comes to resume writing, you've got to be particular, especially in this competitive field of medical sales. It's very competitive, especially right now because of what's going on. So you want to make sure your resume is on point and really speaks volumes for the kind of person you are. And a random Google search for resume template is not going to do that. You need to let an industry-specific professional highlight your unique value and show why it makes so much sense to bring you into the position. So the secrets to resume optimization, number 1, you want it to beat the ATS. So some of you know what that is, some of you don't. So the ATS is the applicant tracking system, or some people call it applicant tracking software. And this is what it is. I mean, last week I was talking to a hiring manager that told me 850 people applied to the same position. That is a ridiculous number. And it doesn't make sense for any number of people to try and pour through all those resumes to make sense of who will be the final 5 to go through a hiring pool. So what they've done is they find applicant tracking software, which can just process those 850 applications or resumes in a matter of seconds. And then you're left with maybe 20, 30 resumes that people will actually pour through and see which one makes sense to move on in the hiring process. If anyone tells you they will guarantee that they will beat the ATS, you need to run, because that just can't be guaranteed. However, you can create a resume that gives you a very, very high chance of beating the ATS and being selected by the ATS software to move forward in the interview process when you send in your application. In our program, our philosophy really isn't the front door. Most people, almost everyone tries the front door. And as you can see now, it's very, very difficult. We actually believe in the side door, where we use our relationships and our network and everything we teach you in the program to get positions. However, even using the side door, you still sometimes have to go through the application process. So you still want to have a good, solid resume that will be selected by the ATS. You want your resume to be worked on by a professional that's actually in the industry. Yes, you can have a resume writer that specializes in accounting write your resume. But why would you do that if you have a resume writer that specializes in medical sales and can understand the nuances of what it means to be in the field and the position that you actually want to get? And then you don't just want to get your resume done. You know, I think there's more to it than just sending your resume off, saying, can you finish my resume, and then getting it back and then running with it. There's something to getting your resume done and then learning how it was actually done. Why was this place there? Why was that place here? So that when you walk through that resume, you really come off seamless, because your resume writer is not going to be with you in the interview process. So your resume isn't everything, but it's critically important to that personal brand that we've stressed. Number 2 mistake, ignoring your social media. Your LinkedIn profile, for example, is used by 90% of recruiters to place people, 90%. So it doesn't really make sense to not pay a lot of attention to it, especially right now in the COVID environment. A lot of people can't get anywhere. So they're making hiring decisions from right behind their desk. All they have is the social media, this brand that you push. You want your brand, again, to scream. Not that you want to get into this industry, but you're ready to get into this industry and you're ready to be a performer within the industry so that it's speaking for you and working for you when you're not even there. And the same thing applies to your Facebook and Instagram. Everything needs to be monitored. Everything needs to be evaluated so that it supports your brand. So secrets to LinkedIn optimization. Again, you want it to support your brand. Supports who you are, supports what you're able to go and do, supports that you will deliver as soon as you get the job. Gets recruiters to contact you. And then highlights your value. And that's all obvious, right? You want it to catch the attention of recruiters. Even if you're going through the side door, you still want, when someone looks at it, to say, wow, this makes a lot of sense to look into this candidate. And you want it to highlight your value. And then the number 3 mistake that I can't believe I have to say, but I have to say it because I still see it. Winging your interview. I talk to a lot of people every day that want to get into the medical sales profession. And when I ask them more questions and more details about what they're doing to prepare, it surprises me when somebody says, you know, when I go in for the interview, I just give it my best. As admirable as that is, of course, you have to give it your best. You still want to go in with the plan. And you want to go in knowing what you're doing, because your interview is the most important opportunity to show a hiring manager exactly who you are. So you don't want to wing it. You want to go in with a plan. Now, of course, you got to go in authentic. You got to go in transparent. You got to let them see your personality and who you are. But that does not mean you're not going in with the plan. So congratulations. You have some of the missing pieces to get in a medical sales position. But as you guys can see, this is a system. What Julie went through, what Crystal went through, what Andrew went through, it's a system that needs to be executed, that has a lot of different points that need to all be done, and there's so much more to learn. But if you don't learn these things on how to get a position, I still want to talk about what the cost is of not knowing. And the cost is you're going to be stuck in a job that you don't want as your passion burns out. If you're someone that does not like where they currently are and you want to get into the medical sales profession, then you need to take action and make something happen. Because if you stay where you are and you don't like where you are, your passion is going to burn out and you're going to get stuck there. Another year with the same income that gives you the same limitations on whatever that income is. And if you really want this and you're not making it happen, you're failing to encourage yourself. And you know what that means. When you're failing to encourage yourself and you recognize that you're not getting what you deserve in this life, it shows, and you're going to fail to encourage those around you. So stop delaying the career you're meant to have. I want you to imagine what's actually possible. Imagine being able to have the right support to create a strong brand that promotes your ability. Imagine having the right guidance to take yourself to a whole new level of confidence in how you present yourself. Imagine being part of a strong network of medical sales professionals that are not just there, that you know, but that are actively working for you and advocating for you to get the interviews and then land the interviews. Imagine the confidence to master any medical sales interview process. And also imagine having at least a $30,000 increase in your current salary. It can go a very long way. So let's explore what's possible. We've helped clients take this most important step to get in a medical sales position. And honestly, I want you, those that are listening, to be my next success story. And that's why I'm introducing to you the Career Builder. Charge up your medical sales career, because I believe, and we all believe, that are working in this Career Builder, that your new position is waiting. So what is a Career Builder? It's a 6-week program to get a medical sales position. In week 1, we prepare you. So everything we've talked about understanding the lifestyle you want and understanding the niche you should be in and what's a good fit and where you'll provide the most value and still get the things that you need, we talk about and we really get into and prepare. And we set up that network. In week 2, that's package, where we start working on that personal brand of yours, where we talk about your resume, we talk about your LinkedIn, all of your social media, your Facebook, your Instagram. We get everything together and we really start to put and promote this strong personal brand. And then in week 3, we practice, where you learn how to answer every single interview question, from the star format questions to the why should you be here to the why do you believe this is a good fit. And you learn how to really communicate all of your value clear, concisely to anyone you get in front of, including recruiters, hiring managers, and executives for potential opportunities. In week 4, we get into the interview process, from the phone interview all the way through the face-to-face interview, from what to bring, how to speak, what to ask, how to close, and even thank you letters. And in week 5, it's perfect, where we get all the resources. We make sure you have your career portfolio. We make sure you have the 1-year analysis for the next interview for the company you're wanting to get into. We make sure you have it all together so that it's seamless, you represent it well, and it's even digital, which makes so much sense and shows such a prowess in you when you're in an interview opportunity. And then week 6, we'll be working on your graduation, because we'll be getting interviews, starting to get somewhere and get you to finally land an offer. We provide everything you need from start to finish in our 6-week program. So there's 2 paths to choose from in the Career Builder program. There's the basic program and there's the premium program. And I'm going to go through both of those right now. So in the basic program, we have the Medical Sales Career Builder online course. So it's an online program where you literally get tutorials, videos, workbook, you get assessments, you get tests, you get evaluations, and you're literally guided through this 6-week process all the way to the end, given everything you need to get a medical sales position. It includes personal branding across all social media platforms to attract recruiters and hiring managers. It includes LinkedIn network training. And yes, there's actually LinkedIn network training, because you need to be trained on how to take full advantage of LinkedIn to make it literally be this amazing platform where you're literally setting up interviews. Over 30 templates for connecting and interviewing. So we're going to teach you what to say, how to say it, when to say it, and who to talk to. And then standout interview skills training. So you're literally going to learn what to say at every stage of the interview. And then your medical sales resume template. So we're going to provide a template specifically for the medical sales position you want to get into. That's going to show you exactly how your resume should look. Our basic program, you can see that each of these things have a value attached to them. If you were trying to find these services individually, that's what you're looking at spending. In our program, it's $9.97, And you can pay that all at once or in three-month installments, and you get everything that you see. In our premium program, we have everything that's in the basic, in addition to an individualized tailored resume. So in the premium program, we actually work with you on creating your resume. We show you exactly how it should be done based on who you are and what you're trying to do. 4 industry leader coaching sessions. So you're actually paired with people that are in the industry, that are currently working in the industry, that are coaching you and guiding you on how to prepare for your upcoming opportunities. 2 mock interviews with recruiters, and it's not listed there, but also hiring managers. So you're actually given a healthcare recruiter that's going to be interviewing you. And then you're going to be given a medical device or a pharmaceutical hiring manager based on depending on where you want to go, that's actually going to interview you, score you, and evaluate you. And then 6 group coaching sessions. So in the premium package, you're actually in a class every single week. You're actually going through the entire program with me. And you have an additional 2 private coaching sessions with me at the beginning and at the end. And then 2 industry leader interview tests. So again, you're going to be evaluated by actual hiring managers in the industry that are going to let you know exactly where you're delivering and where you're falling short for your next opportunity. And I like talking about that because, you know, some of these hiring managers, if you show up well, you're given 110% in the program, they will actually find you an opportunity directly. But you got to show up well, and they got to believe that it makes sense for them. And then also we have 1 to 2 times a month, we have a question and answer session. So we'll have an industry leader. If you get a chance to listen to the podcast, think about any of those guests, those types of guests. We'll have a leader come on. We'll have a panel of about 5 to 10 students, and you can ask any question you want about the industry, about the interview process, about how to get in, about who to talk to, anything you want for about 45 minutes. And for that program, for the premium program, it's $14.97. So $9.97 for the basic, $14.97 for the premium, which includes the class. And again, you know, we have 3-month payment options. So if you want to pay it in 3-month installments, that's fine. If you want to pay it all at once, that's also fine. We don't want cost to be an issue, right? If you're talking about getting a career that can take you to a $30,000 increase and have you making $200,000 a year, $300,000 a year, $400,000 a year, where the nature of your job is to literally impact patients' quality of life and impact patient outcomes in the operating room, we believe that this is a very reasonable price, and it makes a lot of sense because we don't want this to be a barrier. As I said before, it's all about visualization. If you really want to be in the medical sales profession and you know you want this for you, I want to provide every resource possible to help you get there. So if you're ready to take action, in the link, you'll see in the link in the chat, you'll see in the chat right now, there's going to be a link that's going to allow you to buy the course if you believe that this is for you and that you're ready to take action and make something happen and finally get yourself into this medical sales profession. Visit the link. Here's the link again. And again, as I said, Aaron's put it in the chat. You guys can click on it and get yourself ready and get in the program. Your next steps. Now, if you want to think about this further, or you want to have a discussion, then I want you to take my 3-minute assessment. That link will also be in the chat. That assessment is a really good assessment because it gives you an idea of exactly where you are in your pursuit for a medical sales position. And then schedule a call with me. So take the assessment, see where you are. And it's good because you'll see where you are, I'll see where you are. We get on a call and we speak specifically to how our program will help you get a position. Again, the time is now. If you really want to make this happen, you want to be in a medical sales profession, this is what I do. This is what I'm passionate about. This is why I created this entire program in the first place. I strongly believe in this industry, and I love it when people get in and excel and thrive. So take the 3-minute assessment, book your session, and let's have a conversation. Or if you believe you're ready to make it happen now, click the link and get into the program. Thank you for coming. Now you know the reasons why the medical sales career, the profession, is the hottest sales career. You now have the 5 proven steps, the path to get there. You know exactly what you can do to attain a position, and you have a community to join. My company is Evolve Your Success. Our program is the Medical Sales Career Builder. and you have a community to join during your pursuit to getting the medical sales position that you actually want. And then because you stay to the end, all of you are going to get my free gift, the 6 things you need to do before any medical sales interview. So now what I'd like to do is take any questions anyone has. And let me see.
Samuel, do you have access to the Q&A tab at the bottom?
Yeah, I do.
There's a couple questions down there that came through, and then I have one in the chat too, if we want to go through those first.
Okay, so yeah, I will start with, oh, I see. So the chat is different than the Q&A questions.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I guess, I mean, I just opened up the Q&A, so I'll just start there, I guess. Okay. Thoughts on a health insurance sales career? Ooh, now that is a good question. So I'm going to be honest with you. When I think health insurance sales career, that is more administration. This is what I'll tell you. If you have a knack for getting into health insurance and this is something that you want to do, I sincerely support it. Because regardless if you're in medical sales, medical device sales, pharmaceutical sales, biotechnology sales, the health insurance component is going to play. If you want to, especially if you want to be an executive or you want to be in-house or you want to be, in charge of a department at one day or be a VP level one day, you got to understand the insurance landscape. And what I've seen in my career is a lot of people that get a little bit of experience in the health insurance area and then transition into a role, they're well informed. Of course, you don't need to start there. And a lot of that you can learn just being in any of those positions we talked about. But if you like being in health insurance and that excites you and you have a passion for doing it and you want to pursue that, it definitely makes sense. And it'll be just part of your arsenal when you develop in your career in the medical sales profession. So I hope that answered that question. Next question. I was in Pharmaceutical sales for an international company in the Caribbean. Since migrating to the US, it has been a challenge to enter back into RX sales, but I have had offers for sales jobs in other industries. How can I overcome this? I am originally a pharmacist in my country of origin. So how can you overcome this? Well, we have a program that actually helps you overcome this. But honestly, yes, I mean, you can be part of the program. We literally work with individuals like this. So we've had clients, and I'll just call them students because everybody becomes a student in this and they learn. We've had students that were pharmacists. We've had students that have been providers in different countries, and that of course they couldn't be providers here because they didn't do the adequate testing. We've had students that were MBAs, PhDs. They've worked in other types of medical sales related fields in different spaces. We've had all types of students. So if you're really serious about getting a position here, then everything that we talked about applies. I mean, that's really how you overcome, right? It's all about how you position yourself, the network you develop, and then when you actually communicate taking advantage of an opportunity to someone face-to-face, whether that's through Zoom or actual face-to-face or over the phone, when they listen to you, they're like, wow, this person, they'd be such an asset. There's a way to set yourself up to do all of that. And that's something that we teach in the program. Another question, I am on PST time. Will I be able to do these online classes in the evening hours? Yes. So, I'm also on PST time. I'm coming out of California, for those of you all over. And I'll tell you right now, we have students all over. So we have students in other countries. We have students in other states. It really doesn't matter where you are. What we try and do is come up with class times that can fit everyone's time zone to some degree. And then another question. Thanks, Samuel, for this Iron Lightning presentation. Thank you. I'm very interested. I'm based in Lagos, Nigeria. Are these opportunities open to those of us residing outside the USA? That is actually a great question. So this is what I'll say. The majority of clients I've worked with that are outside of the country, either the way things work in the country they're coming from are very much like the United States, or they're coming to the United States. When you think about having a position in Nigeria or in Lagos, Nigeria, for example, there are some similarities, right? Because a company like GlaxoSmithKline, they're global. And actually, I knew colleagues, and I even considered it myself, that were based out of the US and then were relocated to a place like Lagos, Nigeria, and operated as an employee under GSK in that area because they understood that landscape. So there are correlations there as far as how the industry works, but to actually get in a position where we come in and what we can promise you is we will prepare you to be able to make the case for anybody you talk to that's maybe making decisions from a higher position. We can't speak to what will happen literally in Lagos, but we can speak to maybe if you were being evaluated by a VP that's coming from a different area and that just wants to see what your skill set is, what you understand about the industry, for why you even want the position, that's where we can come in and help you. We can get all those things ready. We can help you. We can even help you develop a network that can support you getting that position in Nigeria. But it's a little bit challenging to be able to tell you what's going to happen with the local environment in Nigeria because we're not there. So I hope that answered the question. And then what is the link for your program? I hope that question has been answered. Erin?
It is in the chat. I put it there a couple times.
Okay.
So you'll see the link that goes directly to the payment page that Samuel spoke to is the bit.ly link. It says MSCB programs. That's the link that will bring you to his page there. And then they're not seeing a link. It should be in the chat right above the message. I posted it there a couple of times. And then there's also a link to your website that I put there as well.
And I'll leave this.
Yeah, if you want to put that slide back up that they can see it on the screen. And then just if there's anyone that can confirm that they see the link in the chat, then we know that the chat is working there. But we will also, link does not appear. Interesting. Maybe I will try to, no link. Are you guys seeing my chats at all? Thanks for confirming, everybody.
Yeah, thanks for speaking up.
Interesting. Oh, I apologize, you guys. I had my chat set to just sending to Samuel and I. That's not helpful for anybody, is it? Okay, the link is now in the chat. Thank you all so much for confirming that the link was not appearing. I will put also Samuel's website on there as well.
And I have the link up now too for anybody that wants to type it in. But yeah, she has the link in the chat as well.
That's it there. All right, thanks for your patience with that, everybody. But links should all be in the chat now. All
right. So you said there were chat questions. Ooh.
And I think that chat question actually came through the Q&A as well. So unless we can definitely hang on for a few more minutes too. If there's any other questions that come through, you can put them in the chat or through the Q&A link as well. This is a great presentation, Samuel. I'm really looking forward to hearing more feedback from everyone that was on today.
Definitely, yeah, thank you.
Yeah, receive the recording as well. So if you want to re-listen to it, or if you know somebody who would find a lot of value out of this webinar as well, you know, someone who you know that's looking to get into the industry, please share it out. We always love when our webinars are shared out with individuals. So you'll see that recording within your inbox in the next 24 hours. And then also stay tuned for an email coming from NASP next week. We're going to send you the resources that Samuel spoke about for those of you who have stayed on till the end. So just stay tuned for that email coming from us. We'll include all of these links in that email as well.
Excellent, excellent. And I'll go ahead and I guess should I leave this up for a little bit longer then, Erin?
Yeah, they're all in the chat now, so we should be good.
We should be good? Okay, excellent.
Yeah. If there's any other questions, this is your last couple minutes here. We'd love to make sure that everything is answered before we log off. All right. And I think that you did say this too, Samuel. There's your email right there for taking that assessment that I put in there as well, right. The Break into Med Sales quiz. There's right. A link to book a meeting with Samuel as well after that.
Sure. So I see one question, and actually, you know, I just want to go over 4 common questions that actually are really important to answer. So somebody said, when does the program start? So for example, we start in a staggered setup, right? For example, we have a program starting next week. So if you were to get into the program today, then you would be set up for the class that starts next week. And our start time for next week is Wednesday. What happens though is even regardless when you set up for the program, you're gonna have an onboarding call initially. And on that onboarding call, you're gonna learn when your class starts. And usually your class is gonna start very, very close to the date that you signed up. So that's typically how it works. Some other questions that people should just know, as far as the program, like how long does the program take? How much time are you putting into the program per week? We have about 3 hours of homework per week. So 3 hours over 7 days. we think that's pretty easy to manage. If you're serious and you've committed and you want to get this position as a medical sales professional, then 3 hours shouldn't be too much to ask over a 7-day period. You can use your computer or an iPad to take the program. It's all online. And you know, if you get an interview in the middle of the program, you're still in the program. And what we do is we actually work on that specific interview as we continue through the program. So you don't have to worry if something's going to interrupt something else. We always focus all our attention on the immediate opportunities. So I want to make sure I answered some of those questions.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
All right.
And thank you everyone for joining in. Again, stay tuned for the recording coming your way within the next 24 hours. And always feel free to reach out at theteam@nasp.com if you have any other questions, or if you can't get connected with Samuel and you'd like to get connected to him, we can definitely support you in that as well. So thank you so much for your time. And thank you, Samuel, for a great webinar today.
Definitely. I'm glad to be here.
All right. Bye, everyone.